So I am now heading back home. We actually, so I was at work from 8 until like 1:20. What happened was that, yeah, my vehicle's fixed. I actually feel comfortable now driving my vehicle while I do a video. So I'm excited about that. As long as I don't drive through the front window, we're okay. Yeah, so what happened was, okay. Yeah, we were scheduled until 2 a.m. We technically closed at like, there we go, 1 a.m. And what happened was, it was slow. I was like, man, this is like, for me, I was thinking, man, I heard that like Fridays are busy, and it's not busy. Like, well, what's going on? Like, it's not busy at all. And what ended up happening was that what some people mentioned is that they think that Fridays, it's basically, at least this Friday, people are afraid of the storm, and so they're hunkering down and they're not like ordering pizzas. And so I was like, so does that, and I was like, oh, because like I get tips, and like tips really help, because like normally I'm just paid $10 an hour, and in this case it's like, well, I'm being paid $10 an hour and then plus tips. So instead of making, let's say, $60 for an entire night, I end up making like $80 or maybe $90 or maybe even $100. It just depends. So it could be like $70 or something similar to that. So it's like, okay, and then it's like, okay, you know, like, too bad about that. But on the flip side, it's like, okay, it's slow, so that basically means I can go ahead and we can leave early and I can go to bed at a decent time. And so it's like, yeah, you know what, you're right. So yeah, like, so yeah. Also, I found my can opener. My roommate was right, it's in my trunk. And I was like, no, there's no way. It has to be somewhere. No, I was totally wrong. It's just that, like, she's thankfully never actually touched my stuff, so I'm thankful for that. It's just that for the simple fact that she's lied so much, I'm like, can I trust her? Do I trust her? No, I don't. I'm just like, I'm so over it. But yeah, so I found my can opener. It was in my trunk, hiding under some of the stuff. So I'm just like, yay, at least I have that. So there's that. And then, but yeah, work was slow and decent, and yeah. But yeah, we like did dishes and a lot of stuff. At one point, I went ahead and like was sweeping underneath the different like counters and such. Oh yeah, so I was like, hey, you know what? What's kind of nice is that basically go ahead, get this done and over with, and yeah, we'll be okay. Or like basically because it's so slow, I was like, does that mean we basically get out of here by like 1:15 because we close at 1? And the guy was like, yeah. And I was like, that means I get to go to bed at a decent time. I only made 2 deliveries. That was it during the entire time. And I'm just like, okay. But on the positive, I do get to go to bed and probably not come in at all. Well, I'm not scheduled for tomorrow. Yeah, I guess it just depends, like, if I need drivers. It would have to be strictly fleet, because I'm only fleet. But since I mentioned fleet, my vehicle no longer has a check engine light on it. I am so happy, like so very happy. It's not shaking while I drive it, like none of that. So yeah, I'm like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious happy. So yeah, it's really nice. Ooh. So yeah, I think from what I can tell, a lot of the students have actually already left home, or left for home, because they're like, there's a really good chance that it won't be safe to be in. So I'm like, you know what? I get it. I do. So yeah. Because it's like, okay, there's a chance we won't have power, or the water goes out. The water has gone out in the past. And whenever that happens, we end up not having school at our location for like 3 or 4 days. And what I may end up doing is like either A, going to Planet Fitness, or B, because I still have the, what is it called with Planet Fitness? The thing where basically it's like, hey, I have not a subscription. It's sort of like a subscription, I guess. But yeah, I still have that. So I can still go. So I'm just like, yay, I can go and do that. So yeah. So what is, I just cracked my back because of the way I was sitting. What else was there? But yeah, we got out about 1:20, did dishes, mopped, took a couple orders. It was so slow. One order, we're like, we can't do, we're not going to do the delivery, because they were like, hey, you can bring in your stuff. So they're like, hey, we'll go ahead, and because it would normally be $5 for the delivery fee, if you come, we'll go ahead and give you a few drinks. So they went ahead and like, so they came in, picked up the pizza, and then the manager was like, yeah, you can go ahead and grab a few drinks to make up for the delivery fee, which I think is like $5-6. It's supposed to help pay for mileage, which in my case, they don't pay me for mileage. They pay me strictly for like tips, for example, and then also they're like, all right, you make like $5 an hour or something. So yeah, I'm so glad my vehicle's working again. I don't have to worry about pressing on the gas and then my vehicle suddenly stopping, like the engine turning off. I can actually press on the brake and the brake works. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So excited. It was not a cheap job either. It was like $1,200. So yeah. for me personally, I do find that very exciting, where it's like you're holding kids and you have kids. And also I thought the picture was really pretty too. And it's not like you're raising like toddlers and babies and just having like, hey, you know, it's just another human being. They don't really have personality or life or anything. But in this case, I thought it was sweet, where it's like, you know what, I'm not just raising something, or like a horse, for example. And a horse, it's like, okay, you raise it, make sure it's good and everything, but you're actually raising a human being. So yeah, overall that I thought was sweet and precious. So yeah, I was like, oh, just knowing that I'm actually raising like a soul in order to be like decent. I really hope I'm raising the kid to be decent. One thing that I've definitely learned is teach the kid not to lie or steal. That would be horrible. I've had so many like roommate problems. I'm just like, you know what, I don't want to deal with that anymore, like at all. I'm over it. Screw that, all that jazz. So yeah. Also it took like, while I was at work, it took like 3.5 to 4 hours for me to finally, because I took a nap earlier, and I've been tired pretty much all day, where it's like, it took 3.5, 4 hours for me to finally wake up, and I'm like, wow, I've been really tired. So yeah. But I think what I'll do is basically stay here most of the time. Tomorrow I'll eat like breakfast, brunch. I'm excited about brunch. And from what I understand, some of the other employees, like one of the managers, yeah, they're both managers. Both of the managers were talking and were like, yeah, basically I can see it tomorrow morning, where the manager is like, hey, can somebody come in and basically help out with work and everything? And I'm just like, and like, you know, nobody really wanted to come in because of the ice and everything. For me, I would be open to going in and working a few hours, simply because I'm like, I need the hours and I have time. And then once that's done, like leaving and then like coming back here, and basically, what can I do? Yeah, coming back here and doing homework. So yeah, that's basically what I could do, especially since it's like, what was it, the tip? So while I was at work, there was a tip. It was $3.75 total, because out of the 2 deliveries, only one of them tipped. And it's like, yay, $3.75. I have enough for Taco Bell. And one of the managers was like, that's so real. It's like, yep. Am I broke? Yes. Yes, I am. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. But yeah, again, earlier, I thought that was really sweet, where it's like, I'm not just like raising a dog or a cat, which I think dogs and cats can be very intelligent. Dogs, I think, might be a little bit more easily trainable, but yeah. Or like you get to train a dog with a few other tricks, but like a human soul has their own personality, their own things that they enjoy or don't enjoy, and it's like, oh, like, so overall, like, that part I really do enjoy and appreciate, just having that. So yeah. But yeah, I think what I'll do, what am I gonna do? Yeah, I wonder understand. Oh yeah, in marriage and family, they mentioned that some of the reasons people get divorced, or like some of the things that are as big is like, I think kids, because I've heard of some people like one person wants kids, the other person does not want kids, and because of that, it just like doesn't work out basically. And I can see that, and it's like, okay, it's kind of important for kids as a deciding factor. I think money was another one, because like I've heard of, I remember when I worked at one of my jobs, I remember there was one guy who was talking, he's like, yeah, basically he got divorced, him and her divorced because she like spent so much money, and I think she would like spend a lot of money, and she basically ruined his credit because of that. I've heard that during divorce proceedings, that can also, like, everything might be kosher, like, before the divorce, but then during the process of getting divorced, a person's credit ends up being ruined, and I'm just like, oh, ouch. So there's that. And then what's another one? Religion. Now, the teacher explained that religion is a deciding factor only if they are diehard in that particular religion. So it could even be like atheism, for example. And I say atheism because that was brought up. And so, yeah, that was where we got off on that topic. Like, what do you guys believe in regards to this? And so I'm just like, yeah. There's some people who are like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but da-da-da. And they start, like, talking about it and such. Or like, hey, some people are like, it doesn't matter, so yeah. I thought it was interesting, like, just listening to some of the other points of view about like their personal point of view, for example, about different things, including religion and like relationships. The teacher did explain it's only a deciding factor if like one person is like diehard in a particular religion and the other person is not diehard. So what that means is like, what was it? Like, let's say one kind of dabbles in being a Muslim and the other person is a diehard Muslim, then it's like that might cause some friction, maybe. Another one is basically one's a Christian and then one is a Muslim. I'm just using Muslim. But with the Muslim thing, yeah. So I was like, that's interesting. So, and that's because like each thing can present opposing views about things. So I remember, I still remember years ago, it was a husband and wife. One was a Muslim, the other was a devout Christian. And so the woman was having some complications, and it was like some kind of, while she was pregnant. And she was like, you know what, I want to like carry the baby full term. Well, the husband's like, you know what, the baby's not going to survive, just go ahead and have an abortion and like we'll try again later. And so, or like we could even adopt. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to like let the baby live to full term. And the husband's like, you know, trying to put pressure on her. And eventually it was like, okay, you know what, let's go to marriage counseling. So they went to marriage counseling, and they eventually found a middle ground, kind of, where it's like, you know what, if we think that the baby can survive on its own without a ventilator, we'll go ahead and have the baby. And then if it's like, why is your lights? Okay, there we go. I don't think their brights are on. I think it's because their lights are like right at eye level, like my eye level, and I'm like, I'm blinded, basically. But yeah, so You know what? The only thing that's squeaky is like my wheel. Other than that, I think the rest of it's okay. It's not as squeaky, thank goodness. There we go. Okay. But yeah. Overall, I love that where it's like I'm growing a soul or like raising a soul, and I'm not just like raising a dog, which I think dogs are really intelligent and dogs actually do understand what we're saying. So I do believe in that, but yeah. What else was there? Something else. Forget what. Yeah, but I like the picture where it's like tattoo and then you see a couple kids, and I'm guessing that they're twins, and it's like, oh. So yeah, I thought it was precious. I really did. And for me, that's like my hope. And I say that because that way, like, it's not that basically I have twins or even triplets. Like, that'll be okay. The reason why is because, basically, brain fart. I'm okay with that because that means fewer pregnancies, hopefully fewer complications in the long run. So I personally am a huge fan and would be very open to that. So, yeah. Basically having twins or triplets, and then that way it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about being pregnant anymore, and like, it's a lot of kids, or it can be a lot of kids, but, especially at one time, but it's like, you know what, I don't have to worry about trying to make sure, or like trying to get pregnant 3 different times, and instead it's like, you know what, I'm just pregnant one time. So yeah, anyways, I'll talk to you later. I hope that you have a great day. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about. And yeah, what I think I'll do is trying to decide what I want to do. I don't know. I need to set my alarm for like 11 a.m. so that way I can go over and grab some brunch. So yeah, anyways, talk to you later. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about, and oh shoot, I'll respond as soon as I can. So yeah, bye. I love you.